6.
A neighborhood shaken to the core 3 years ago after a plane crashed into homes. Now neighbors are remembering that day.
And 2 people under arrest for a double murder in Goshen. Tonight, we're learning more about this investigation.
First, fast, accurate with Jennifer Copeland and Rick Schutt. You're watching WSBT 22 News at 6.
There's a sense of relief right now in Goshen.
Yeah, police arrested 2 people in a double murder case. Now, 22-year-old Diego Ramos of Elkhart and 19-year-old Luis Rivas of Goshen are in the Elkhart County Jail right now. WSBT 22's Hillary Powell has been following this investigation. She's at the live desk with all the details tonight. Hillary?
That's right. Neighbors in the Brookside Manor neighborhood tell me they feel safe, better now with these arrests. Jose Navarrosco and Marco Carmona Gonzalez were shot to death in a home in the Brookside Manor neighborhood. Officers say they believe the suspects entered the Nava home around 5 Sunday morning. Goshen police say an investigator from the Elkhart County Prosecutor's Office assisted. The management for Brookside Manor sent letters to residents today. They say they've asked police to increase their presence. Now, neighbors I spoke with say they can sleep better now.
It makes my whole family feel safer. At one point, my girlfriend was really, distraught about the whole situation. She couldn't even sleep the next night or anything. It does a tremendous amount of, makes me feel a lot more secure in my own home,
There isn't a neighborhood watch in here. I would like to see that, not that that would have made a difference in this case, but I would like to see a neighborhood watch in this community.
Now, the mayor tells me the investigation is still ongoing. We're hoping to learn details about the murder when probable cause documents are filed in court in the next few days. At the live desk, Hillary Powell, WSBT 22 News.
All right, Hillary, thanks so much. An inmate in the St. Joseph County Jail could be connected to the beating death of a South Bend man. Police say Jody Henderson was murdered near Arthur and Soren in January, and for months they have interviewed people searching for his killer. Now they say a man in jail on another charge is involved.
We've got our sights set. We know where the evidence has taken us. We know the information we have from people that we've spoken to. I'm confident that what I'm saying is going to bear fruit.
Police are not naming that inmate, but did say he and Henderson knew each other.
Well, new at 6, St. Joseph police asking for your help following a vandalism report. This surveillance video shows a Jeep pulling up to a home on Eaglewood Drive in Granger. You can see 2 people throwing toilet paper into trees, eggs at the home, and lighting a bag of dog waste on fire on the front porch. The homeowner told police it's happened about 4 times since 2014. County police do not have any other similar reports for this area.
Good evening, I'm Matt Rudkin in the Forecast Center. A nice day today, lots of sunshine. Our storm tracker radar reiterates that, just a very few spotty showers showing up. A live look at St. Joe. It's beautiful up that way. Notice fair weather, cumulus clouds, otherwise lots of sun along Southwest Michigan Sunset Coast. 51 up there at the Southwest Michigan Regional Airport, 54 Elkhart, Plymouth, 54 in Knox, 55 in Rochester. This evening, temperatures fall quickly thanks to the mostly clear skies. We have a 10% chance, that's it, for a stray shower. Maybe 1 out of every handful of communities see a shower. Most of us, though, if not everybody, stays dry this evening. We'll look ahead to the weekend and how next week's shaping up as well in your forecast coming up.
All right, Matt, thank you. And new at 6 o'clock, the wet weather that we had over the weekend is believed to have impacted St. Joseph County's 911 dispatch center. WSBT 22's Zach Crenshaw is live outside the South Bend police station. That's where the dispatch center is currently housed. So, Zach, what exactly happened here?
Some of the center's cables had mechanical issues, most likely caused by weather. The new 911 dispatch director says they were quickly resolved, though. In fact, he says no calls were lost during this incident, most likely because of the backup systems they already had in place.
It was a very minor impact. We had no impact to 911 services. We lost no telephones. Radio systems, we have multiple levels of redundancy built in, so where one channel may have went down, we simply reverted to another channel.
Kroyman says when all the dispatchers consolidate in the new Mishawaka building, there will be even more safeguards in place to ensure your calls are always taken. The transition date is still unclear, but likely towards the end of this year. Now, as for the union, the dispatchers have already formed. Corymans told me they were meeting this afternoon to have their second collective bargaining agreement meeting. Those talks are going to be ongoing for a couple of weeks, but I'm told the main concerns have to do with the hours worked and the overtime the dispatchers have had to work in the past. Reporting live in South Bend, Zach Crenshaw, WSBT 22 News.
Zach, thank you. Frightening moments at some Berrien County schools this morning. A written threat was found at the River Valley Middle High School. Now, the note mentioned shooting and bombing the school. Chickaming Township Police responded. A K-9 swept the building. No threat was found. The student was identified and is suspended pending a disciplinary hearing. Well, this was the scene 3 years ago today when a plane crashed into a South Bend neighborhood. That crash killed 2 people and injured several others. WSBT 22's Danielle Kennedy is here now. And Danielle, the National Transportation Safety Board still hasn't issued its final report on the cause of this crash.
Rick, last year the agency released a summary detailing some facts. A spokesperson told me there's no timeline for that final report, though. I spoke with an attorney for one of the women who lost her home. He says the cases are still working their way through the system. But today you could still see some of that damage left behind from the crash. Neighbors tell me many people who lived along Iowa Street at the time have either moved away or passed away. Those who remain say they're trying to move on, but it's a memory that's hard to forget.
People kept asking, when are you going to move? We're not about to. No. It's a real nice neighborhood.
It's a quiet neighborhood. People kind of just act on like normal lives. I mean, it's really not a big problem about it.
We did reach out to attorneys representing some of the passengers on that plane from Oklahoma to South Bend, but have not heard back. Jennifer and Rick, many neighbors I spoke to off camera say since the crash, they think twice every time they hear a plane flying over their home.
Yeah, you can understand why. Danielle, thank you. Is your bracket already busted? Round 1 of the NCAA tournament is in full swing right now.
It is. How many people picked Yale today?
Yeah.
We'll see. Well, Notre Dame hits the court tomorrow night for some March Madness. WSBT 22 sports director Pete Byrne there live in Brooklyn, New York. And Pete, Irish getting ready to take on Michigan.
Yeah, and first of all, can I put my hand up and say I actually thought that I was going to see Yale beat Baylor today. Of course, that's just one game. By the time this tournament's done, my bracket is going to look all messed up, as is everyone else's. What the Irish are hoping, though, of course, is that their bracket is still intact come midnight tomorrow when their game with Michigan wraps up. The Irish are going to tip off against the Wolverines at 9:40. A game we'll be televising right here on WSBT 22. This has been a very interesting week of preparation for Notre Dame as it pertains to the NCAA tournament. They didn't find out until late last night who their opponent was going to be. That's because Michigan had to beat Tulsa in the play-in game. So when the Irish got on the court here today at the Barclays Center to do their pregame shoot-around, it was actually the first time they were able to work on the floor about things that they're going to use in the game tomorrow against Michigan. So they're probably actually going to be doing more work in the film room and in meetings tonight and early tomorrow pertaining to this game than they will on the floor. But that's okay. We heard from Mike Bray today when he met with the media, and he said it's probably a good thing for this team to have had a little time to focus just on themselves this week. They're coming off a decent ACC tournament, but one in which they also got beat pretty handily against North Carolina. So Bray thinks that having a little time for the Irish to focus on themselves rather than a particular opponent may help this team out in the long run.
It was different in that, you don't know who you're playing until late last night. But you know what? It may have been a blessing because you concentrated more on your own team than Tulsa or Michigan. And certainly there's still some things that we can do better, especially taking care of the basketball. We turned it over a bunch in D.C. So it probably was a blessing in that I wasn't distracted watching too much Tulsa or Michigan film. I think I watched a half of each on Tuesday, and then that was it, and kind of coached our own team. And again, you have plenty of time now with a 10 o'clock game to kind of get familiar then with your opponent.
And as for that 10 o'clock game, Notre Dame will be one of the late games of the tournament played tomorrow night. Mike Bray referred to his team as the Night Walkers, so we will see if that mantra pays off for them tomorrow. When we come back a few minutes from now in sports, Rick and Jennifer, I'm going to visit with Demetrius Jackson, the Notre Dame captain, who, of course, hails from Mishawaka. I'll be back with that in just a few minutes.
All right, Pete, thanks so much. Live in Brooklyn tonight. We'll see you again in sports.
All right, a nice sunny day for the holiday today, St. Patrick's Day, but Matt tracking some colder temperatures when you're going to need to pull out that heavier coat again. That's coming up next.
Now your accurate first alert weather forecast with meteorologist Matt Rudkin.
Getting the signs of spring.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, spring starts this weekend.
Yeah.
So it's official after, it's technically Sunday in Universal Time, but in Eastern Time, it would be Saturday evening. Okay. So this weekend, late Saturday, early Sunday is when spring officially arrives. Here's what we're tracking as we go through the next couple of days. So breezy tonight. The winds will start to die down, which I know they've been a nuisance for the past 2 days or so. More sunshine for tomorrow. Cooler this weekend, but we've got some rain and potential decent thunderstorms next week. We'll talk about that coming up. Right now on our storm tracker radar, a little blip of rain near Lakeville, La Paz, also over towards southern parts of Porter County, over towards Newton and Jasper counties. That's it. Very, very isolated rainfall through the evening. 54 at the airport, as well as Elkhart, LaGrange, 52 Sturgis, 55 Plymouth, and down towards Warsaw and Rochester. Winds are still breezy, but these numbers are falling. They were in the 20 to 30 mile an hour range earlier today. We're now in the teens to lower 20s. Wider view of temperatures, nice and warm downstate into the 60s. Up where we live, 40s and 50s. Excuse me. Here's a look at satellite and radar imagery. Starting to see signs of spring just by looking at this. What's happening is the ground's heating up because of the sunshine. That heat rises. Well, it's real cold up in the sky still, so that condenses. You get rain showers. That's what we're seeing. So this is something you often see in the summer. When we see big thunderstorms, same setup. You get really, really warm air. It rises fast, and that's how you get big storms. Obviously no storms today, but just the fact the radars are starting to light up in the afternoon, showing that spring is certainly right around the corner. We're in the 50s here at home. Look at the cold air up north. They're actually dealing with snow up that way. So you get the clash of the two air masses, a good recipe for some showers and a rumble of thunder or two. But this cold front's pretty dry, not a lot of moisture with it. The Gulf of Mexico is disconnected with this, so not expecting much other than a stray shower. A little bit cooler, though, for the weekend. Our Futurecast model will reiterate that. Watch the winds switch a little bit, but the arrows get really small. That would indicate winds that are starting to die down a bit. Here we go through our Friday. Lots of sunshine, a few clouds mixed in there as well, just like today. We are tracking the chance of some precipitation, though, as we get towards Saturday of the first half of the weekend, at least. So here's your forecast. Tonight we'll go back into the 30s, partly cloudy skies. For tomorrow, mostly sunny to partly cloudy, probably more clouds in the afternoon. I don't have a chance of rain in here. I left it out. We usually don't unless we have 20% or higher, but there may be 1 or 2 very, very tiny rain showers tomorrow. So if you're one of the unlucky people that get it, it will move over fast. So I think most of us, not everybody, does stay dry. 30% on Saturday. Notice temperatures start to rebound back into the 60s. Looks like a pretty strong cold front is going to come through probably on Thursday. It's hard to time it out 7 days away. But whenever it does, we'll have to keep an eye on it because it does look like there'll be moisture available, and that would mean the potential for some thunderstorms as well. But we'll get through the nice couple of days coming up here, and we'll worry about that when we get to next week.
It's springtime, so it's that time of year.
It is. No snow in the forecast, at least.
Yeah, there you go. Matt, thanks. St. Patrick's Day celebrations getting ready to ramp up. We're heading to a local Irish restaurant to see how it's celebrating. That's next.
First to cover breaking news with Jennifer Copeland and Rick Shutt. Your accurate first alert weather forecast with meteorologist Matt Rudkin. And sports with Pete Byrne. You're watching WSBT 22 News at 6.
Happening right now, a lot of people celebrating St. Patrick's Day in downtown South Bend.
They sure are. That's where we find WSBT 22's Suzanne Spencer right now. She joins us live from Fiddler's Hearth. Wow, what's going on out there? There's a lot of fun.
We are in the heart of St. Patrick's Day here at Fiddler's Hearth. Lots of people getting their food, drinks. I mean, it has been packed here since 11 o'clock. The bartenders and cooks been hard at work making all those traditional Irish favorites. Now, the line here this morning was about 50 people deep and really hasn't stopped all day long. Tradition really important here at Fiddler's. They've got shamrocks on the table, and legend has it, if you pin it on, go to church, then go to the pub. They also have lots of traditional Irish dishes, but this year is a special one.
This is a very special St. Patrick's Day because next month is the centennial of the Easter Rebellion, 1916, when they took over the post office and some other government buildings in downtown Dublin. So this year there are celebrations all over the world. This is their 4th of July.
They've got lots of decorations, as you can see. I grabbed myself a few of these. Bands going until 1 o'clock this morning. It's sure to be a good time. They're staying open extra late just for all of you to celebrate your St. Patrick's Day.
Looks like like a lot of fun out there tonight, Suzanne. Thanks so much.
I like the hat.
Very nice.
All right, well, coming up, we are going to head back to Brooklyn for another live report from Notre Dame in the NCAA tournament.
Now, sports with Pete Byrne.
Good evening. Sports is live tonight at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, home of the New Jersey Nets and the New York Islanders. But for the next 4 days, the site of the NCAA Regional, where tomorrow night Notre Dame and Michigan will play in the final game of the evening here in the NCAA tournament. Earlier today, I had a chance to speak to several of the Irish players, including Mishawaka's Demetrius Jackson, the team captain, who says that being back in this setting of the NCAA tournament brings back very fond memories of what the Irish were able to accomplish here just 1 year ago.
I just remember, the previous year here, guys were just loose, having fun, really enjoying the moment, and just, we really had a flow. We really reached a flow as a group, and so just kind of looking forward to getting back into that flow, just where we can just go out carefree and just going forward, just having fun as a group.
That flow is kind of a delicate thing. Is it as simple as enjoying the moment, or do you have to jumpstart it?
Yeah, I mean, it's, it doesn't just happen. You kind of get yourself really into it. You got to be locked in, got to be focused. And so you got to prepare yourself for those moments. And, I feel like we've done a good job this week and just throughout the whole season preparing ourselves for, moments like these.
Of course, you'll recall Demetrius Jackson had such a phenomenal NCAA tournament 1 year ago, and the Irish made the run to the Elite Eight. Coming up tonight at 11 o'clock, I'll have more of my conversation with Demetrius. We'll also put it for you on the WSBT Sports app, and we'll also hear from head coach Mike Bray and several of the other Irish players as they get set to battle Michigan tomorrow night here in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Right now, we're going to throw it back to the WSBT studios with Carl Deffenbaugh standing by. And Carl, I know there's a lot of other busy things going on today in the world of sports back in Michiana.
That's for sure, Pete. WSBT 22 is, of course, your home for March Madness. Coming up at the top of the hour, the IU Hoosiers get their tournament run started against Chattanooga. And other teams of local interest playing today. Purdue is up on Arkansas Little Rock 50-40 in the second half right now. Sorry about that graphic. Butler beat Texas Tech earlier in the day 71-61. On the high school court, Niles Brandywine in the state semifinals from the Breslin Center this afternoon. The Bobcats down 4 at halftime. McKenna Hartline drives and scores, and Brandywine is down 30-27. Hartline had 17 points. Brandywine relies on the three-pointer, but they were ice cold today, just 3 of 21 from beyond the arc, and the Bobcats fall in the state semis by the final score of 53-40. Meanwhile, in the Indiana boys tournament, Warsaw is just 2 wins away from the second state championship in program history. The Tigers face McCutcheon in semi-state on Saturday, and they will be led, as always, by their driving force, Paul Marindet.
One of our biggest quotes we have in this program is respect all, fear none. I always make sure we highlight that fear none part.
Paul Marindet plays many roles for the Warsaw Tigers.
Oh, I don't think I've ever had a player quite like Paul.
He's the floor general of a ruthlessly efficient offense, the anchor for the second best defense in the state. And then there's his other title.
We kind of refer to him as Coach Marindet. Everyone does, because his knowledge for the game is so high.
He's an extension of me, and that's worth its weight in gold right there, because he audibles, sets. He'll see a mismatch as favorable for us, and he'll just call that play.
Coach Marindet even has his own whiteboard now in the Warsaw huddles. The leadership comes naturally to the senior point guard, who is far more mature than his 18 years.
An old soul. I would compare it a little bit to Peyton Manning in his preparation.
It's a special sport, Have to have a certain amount of skill and the IQ. You have to really know the game of basketball to be a good player.
The mix of personality and preparation led Warsaw to its first regional title in 6 years. But Paul Marindet still has loftier goals for his team.
Every single time I come to practice, I look up, see the Final Four banners, I see that state runner-up banner. We're really close, I'd love to bring one home.
He says not only does he want to coach high school someday, he wants to coach Warsaw someday. So Coach Ogle better look out. He's going for his job, but that'd be pretty impressive to point up to the banner and say, hey, I accomplished that. You better listen to me.
That would certainly mean something.
Absolutely.
2 wins away. We'll see.
They're getting very close.
All right, Matt's coming up next.
Want to wish everybody a happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm really not a Grinch when it comes to this holiday wearing blue and black, but I can't because of my job. So here's Jennifer. We'll show you why. There's a big green wall behind us. And yeah, see, she's really not invisible, but
Really?
nonetheless.
You had to tell everybody that?
That's right, that's right. So Christmas, I always wear red and all
That's
that
my
stuff.
secret.
So now we're going to get her out of my space here. There you go. Temperatures tomorrow in the middle 40s with mostly sunny skies. Next several days, we're below average through next week. Then we warm up as we get into mid and late week.
The
Fun
magic
behind the scenes,
the
isn't
magic
it?
of TV on the big green wall.
It's like the Wizard of Oz. Your head is just floating out there.
Yeah, there you go.
That was fun, Matt.
April Fools.
Have a great night.